Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action-packed session. Today, we're going to be talking about the three fastest ways to make money as a real estate investor. So if you're new to the game, and a lot of people will come to me with that question, Brian, how can I make money fast? I just want to make some cash in this game. I want to get out of the 9 to 5 as quickly as possible. I'm going to answer that question for you, give you the three fastest ways to get this done. If you're to the platform, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says I subscribe. For everyone who leaves that comment, I'll send you instant access to a free training that I just put together for you. Show you how to get properties for pennies on a dollar all across the country. If you're interested in any of our programs, we have our real estate ride along tour. That's this Saturday, March 15th. That's pretty much sold out. We had one person who had a change of plan, so we have one ticket left. If anybody wants that, just DM me ride along and I'll get you tapped in there. We have our boots on the ground program where we find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for you. If you just want us to do deals for you, turnkey, and we're going to talk about turnkey as kind of part of our strategy today, definitely just reach out, DM me boots on the ground. And then we have our community group. If you guys just want to learn the game and tap into our community, our network, click the link in the descriptions. You can tap into our community group where we give you like coaching, access to knowledge, a lot of content. It'll really help you guys out and help you to get to the next level. Give me a quick second. I'm just setting up here. And if you're on IG, just DM me cash flow if you want to get access to anything, and we'll dive right in to this training. So guys, I want to kind of get into these three strategies. When you're new to the game, and I get it, you want to get out of the 9 to 5 as quickly as possible. And there's only so many ways that you can do it, especially if you're starting off with limited cash. Some of us have bad credit, like we're just not in the best position to get into the game. We want to know, like, what are the best ways? How did Brian get into the game when he got started? So I can kind of break that down for you guys as well. So the first way, and I want to go pretty quickly. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat, drop them in the comment section, and we'll just kind of answer them as we flow. The first way is going to be house hacking. So I want to focus on house hacking if I'm brand new to real estate. And this is literally how I got started. This is how I know it works. Sometimes people will be like, how do I know this is going to work for me? I know it works. This is how I started when I was flat broke, when I barely had any money, when I was making 100% commission. My first year, I made $6,000 in the whole year. I basically, in gas and tolls, paid to go to work. Like, I didn't make anything, eating off the dollar menu. This is what I did. So I got a couple of big commission checks after, kind of hustling up some deals. And I saved all of that money because I was living at home in the bedroom that I grew up in, which some of you have seen it if you watch some of the free trainings. And I went to house hacking. So house hacking is basically where I will go and find a turnkey property, which is one of the pros on the left. I'm going to find a turnkey property. This is going to be something that's already move-in ready. So I don't have to do rehab. When I'm brand new, I don't want to seek out opportunities where I personally have to do rehab. If you're in something like our Boots on the Ground program, where we're doing it for you, and I've built hundreds of houses, probably about 400 plus at this point. If you're working with somebody who's done it before and can hold your hand through the process, that's a little different. But if you're going out on your own, going out and just jumping into a rehab is probably one of the easiest ways to lose lots of money. And you can lose lots of money on your first rehab. You probably will. And you'll make a lot of mistakes until you figure the game out, unless somebody's watching over your shoulder. So I want something turnkey. And these are part of the pros. So move-in ready. I'm probably going to do this on a multifamily, because when I'm house hacking and when I'm getting those early deals, I can qualify for all types of money and leverage. I can come to the table with 3.5% down. I can get seller's assist, which is something that I did, where I came out of pocket maybe $5,000 for my first property. It was a multifamily, cash flowing about $1,000 a month from day one. So I got my 5K back in 5-6 months, and then I was ahead and just cash flowing. So it's basically just an ATM that gives you money, and that's what you're looking for with this strategy. Like, I just want an ATM, man. I just want to show up, hand somebody the keys, buy the property. My name's on the paperwork. I own it here. So now you pay me the rent, and I want the spread to be pretty wide, where I'm cash flowing, $500, $1,000 a month from day one, from like when I purchase a property. And how that works out, just so you know, it's not like scammy or like, does this really happen from day one? When you buy a property, especially turnkey like this, house hacking, there's usually a push out on the mortgage. So That means, like, let's say I closed on this deal right now. I closed on the deal today. We're in the middle of March. They might not make the first mortgage payment due until May 1st. So if I get that property turnkey where it's move-in ready, and I, sprint and get this thing tenanted, like I'm in full sprint, I'm blasting out leads, I'm blasting out ads, I'm just showing the property nonstop. I get it tenanted. They're gonna move in with first month, last month, and security. So if I have a multifamily, let's say the rent's $800 a month per unit, and I have 2 units to rent out, I'm grabbing $2,400 a month for each unit. I mean, $2,400 move-in fee for each unit. So even if I came out of pocket 5-10 grand to get in the deal, I'm already up 4,800 right back just from tenanting the property. I got half of my money back. And then it starts cash flowing immediately because the mortgage might only be, 800, 900 a month. The cash flow is coming in 1,600 a month. So you're already cash flowing. So I want turnkey. I want low money down. And that's what I'm going to get with a house hack because I'm owner occupying, typically a house hack strategy where I can come in and just buy this thing turnkey. It is going to be low money down. Owner occupied loans typically allow you to come to the table with less, 5%, 10%, 1%, 0%, because there's a lot of seller's assists and first time home buyer programs. You have to check your state. I have lists for that. Just reach out and DM me if you need me to help you to like check your state. Hey, thanks for that big facts. I see you tapping in. I think your call is scheduled for tomorrow. Looking forward to connecting with you. So low money down. And guys, if you have any questions about this, drop it in the chat, drop it in the comment section. If you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, share the content with somebody else who you want to get value. Don't be stingy with it. Pass it around. And then low credit. So when I'm house hacking, because I'm owner occupying, at times I can qualify with lower credit. And that's important if you have credit issues. There are a lot of different programs out there. Even if you have like low credit, you can usually do credit hacks. We have a lot of credit hacks. In fact, when you join our community group, I give you my credit kind of breakout session where it breaks out the fast credit hacks. Today is all about moving fast. So I don't want to be building my credit up over like the course of 5 years. I want to get there in 3 weeks. I want to have my credit score go up 100, 150 points and just get me to the table, get me to the closing table. So those are the pros of house hacking. And that's kind of what you're doing is finding a turnkey multifamily where you can live in one unit, rent out to others, live in the basement, rent out the duplex, and then come to the table with very low money down, big cash flow. And even if you have credit issues, you can still get started. Some of the cons, one of the cons with house hacking is the 1 year rule. So you'll have this rule where you have to occupy the property for a year and like a day before you can move out and then do this again, refinance the property and kind of do it again and use another FHA or owner occupied type of loan. So that could block you if you got like a duplex. Now you have to live in one of those units. That's a unit you can't rent out, which is why I recommend trying to build like a basement unit. Sebastian said, how can I join? If you want to join, click the links in the description. Go into the description on the YouTube video. There's links to tap into our community group. Just click that link and tap in. It's full disclosure. It's $27 to join our community group. There are some, bonuses and upgrades and different things you can grab, but it's only $27 to join. Why don't we make the community group free? Because I don't want tire kickers in our group. I want people who are ready to take action. If you can't pull out $27, which is kind of a random number anyway, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. I probably spent $30. I'm in New York, but I probably spent $30 on lunch today, like just for me, because that's how expensive things have gotten. If I go to the supermarket and buy, some fruit and a bag of chips, it's like $150 in New York. $27 is nothing. But if you can't make that micro commitment to yourself, you're probably not ready to even get started at all, even with a no cash, no credit strategy, because you need to pay at times in order to pay attention. You need to pay to a degree. So there is a cost to get involved, but we have private money lenders. We have our whole network. You can network with other investors from across the country who are building houses right now. It's not just me, even though I'm the face, who's getting results and building. There are people from all over the country building. I just spoke with a lender, another private lender who will do up to 100% today, who reached out from Hawaii. So I'm bringing more and more relationships into the community We have our architect in there. We have our accountant in there. So if you need those types of resources, you have it. So there's just a lot, there in that community group. And you need to be a part of a community in order to be successful, in my opinion, as a new real estate investor. You don't want to go on this journey alone. There's a lot of questions. There are a lot of things you can learn from other people's mistakes or experience that you would rather learn that way than, from your own mistakes. So cons are that 1 year rule, no LLCs. So you can't house hack in an LLC typically. I mean, there are ways to house hack in a Randy said 100% funding. Heck yeah. Definitely 100% financing is part of why I love real estate. It's part of why I love this game, because you can get a lot of the capital, if not all of it, to purchase and rehab. You may still have to, and in most cases will still have to come to the table with closing costs, but that could be very small. That could be like 5 to 10% of the total loan amount. So this game, as you get better at it, you will find more and more private money and 100% lenders, people who just give you all the money to do deals. And we have people like this in our community group. So if you need access to that, you need to click that link and tap in. If you're on IG, just DM me Cashflow, or just DM me, hey, I want to join the group. I want to join the community, and I'll send you a link for how you can join, or you can click the link in bio. No LLCs when you're house hacking. That's a con to me, because I have to house hack in my personal name now. So now I have to hack this thing in my name. It's not horrendous, because I can get insurance and general liability insurance and different things to beef up my protection from an asset protection standpoint. But it is something that you need to be aware of. Like, you can't necessarily get the best financing through the LLC unless you get into the BRRRR strategy, which is what we do in the Boots on the Ground program. We're usually doing BRRRR deals, and that's how you can get this similar house hack type of effect in terms of cash flow and capital that you're bringing to the table without it being a owner occupied residence. It is limited how many times you can house hack, because if you have, let's say if you're house hacking with a FHA loan, this is the last con. There are some limitations on how many FHA loans you can have out. They're constantly changing the rules. I was just talking to somebody the other day who, they used to flip houses off of FHA loans. That used to be like a huge hack, where you could buy a house FHA, spruce it up a bit, and flip it in like 30 days, especially in a hot market. You can negotiate it down, buy it, and flip it in like 10 days. And guys are making like $50,000, $75,000 in like 10 days doing this. And then they came up with a rule to block it, where you have to hold the FHA loan for at least X amount of days. Could be 90 days, could be 180 days. And you have to live in it for a year. So you have that. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says I subscribe. Share the content with somebody else who you want to get value. Don't be stingy. Share it with a friend. And that also helps as you build out your own personal circle of friends who are invested in real estate. It helps you to stay on point. It helps you to, maybe your buddy made a mistake on a deal and you got to learn from it. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That puts you in a much better position than only learning from your own mistakes. So as you're getting in the journey, share the journey with other people. Start talking to your friends about real estate. Start talking to your family about real estate, because we lack a lot of this education within our communities and within our friends groups. If you make your friend circle stronger, or if you join a community, which is why we have our community, you can just join us and then start networking and building relationships with other investors. I can tell you for a fact, one of my biggest hacks is that, my best buddy is like, also in real estate, has 50 deals, 60 deals. So the amount of times where we still will, almost every time we talk, real estate comes up. We will still bounce ideas and resources off of each other and try to help. So having that type of just surrounding yourself by the game, it truly makes the difference. I'd say it's one of the biggest difference makers in this thing. Let me say, Amira says, hard money plus private lending is definitely a game changer. Brian has the best resources. Just tap in. Yeah, so she's actually working on a deal right now where they have hard money, and then they needed the private lender to come up with the down pay money. So we connected them with the private lender. So when I start talking, and look, I know there's a lot of information on the internet. When I start talking about, hey, you don't necessarily need a ton of cash, or at times any cash, to do deals, I really mean it. Now, with that being said, lenders give money to people who look like they don't need it. I'll repeat that so that it sinks in. Lenders give money to people who look like they don't need it. So you do want to have cash. You do want to have liquidity. No cash, low credit investing is not about being broke. There are strategies if you're flat broke, and we're going to talk about them. It's actually the last strategy, so make sure you stick around because there's still ways to get in if you're flat broke, if you're working on a tight budget. But even if you had 100K, there are a lot of people who are like, well, I just don't want to use my money. Keep your cash on the sideline and learn how to use that to leverage OPM, other people's money. You can get with 50K on the sidelines, 25K on the sidelines, 30K on the sidelines, and the right relationships and some experience, track record, you could raise all of the money to do deals. Actually, with enough experience and knowledge and resources, you could just go out and raise 500,000 privately. I just need 500,000. I'm going to do these deals. Here's the game plan. Here's the business plan. You don't necessarily need money, but she's experiencing it because we're kind of connecting both of those dots. So she's getting like 90% leverage from a construction lender. Then the other 10% down, she's getting from the private money lender. So full financing there. And that puts you in the driver's seat, in my opinion. It just gives you more options, the ability to do more deals and scale faster. So that's exciting. Thanks for sharing that. And she's a part of the community. So definitely, once again, if you're interested in that community group, click the link in the description. If you're on IG, just DM me Cashflow. DM me, Brian, I want to join the 24/7 Cashflow community. And if you're interested in our Boots on the Ground program, where you want us to, find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for you, just build them for you, go out and find them and do that dirty work, then we will do that for you as well. Just reach out. We have limited space there, so we can't do that for everyone. Usually there's only like one spot, maybe two spots open a month, and then they close up pretty quickly because people jump in. Let's get into flipping. So flipping, this is how you make big money. So if you want to make money fast, and let's think about it this way, even though we're the 24/7 cash flow university, we like cash flow here. We like to buy and hold, and there's lots of benefits. Flipping is how you get the big money just fast. So the pros of flipping are like, hey, I want to make, like, if you came to me and said, Brian, I want to make big money. I want to get out of the 9 to 5 like tonight. What strategy should I go with? If I want to get out of the 9 to 5 this year, I got to go. I need my free time back. I want to spend more time with my family. I'm going through a rough patch in my marriage. I need to be available. I'm on the road too much, whatever, right? Whatever the scenario is, flipping can get you there faster than anything, because even if you go with a buy and hold strategy, it's comfortable. You can build up cash flow, but you want to you want to be patient. This is the tortoise and the hare. We're the tortoise with the buy and hold strategy. We want to go slow and steady. We're going to win that race for sure. But flipping is definitely going to get us out faster. So if you need to replace your salary, you're making 100K, you could do 2 flips a year, 50K a flip, boom, you're out. And 2 flips, you could probably spend about 10% of the time in the year that you would have spent working. So you could work 90% less, maybe 95% less, and flip a couple of deals and blow away your salary, or equal your salary, or whatever. If your salary's $250,000, I can show you a plan to scale up to 3 to 5 flips this year. And we're in March. So you can still do it. It's the easy way to get out because you get all the money up front. You're not getting $500 a month. You're getting all of that profit up front. Give me the 50K right now, and then I'll take it and put it into a buy and hold or do another flip. But it's going to build me out of the game. You want to factor in for your flips about 6 months. I would say around 4 months to build and then 2 to sell. That's like a comfortable number. It doesn't mean that it's going to take this long. It can go much faster than this. But and I've done deals much faster than this. I've done burst strategy deals, literally buy, full gut rehab, refinance out in 30 days. Buy, full gut rehab, refinance out 30 days. Up 60K cash out refi. Document it, right? Just completely document it. So 6 months for me on a flip is a good time. Even if I finish it faster, maybe it takes longer to sell. If I finish it slower, sometimes it'll sell faster. So I would say about yes, Millie said 30 days. Wow, yeah. I still have a video of on appraisal day. The paint wasn't even dry. The paint wasn't even dry. Like, it was crazy. We were finishing, the appraisers on the way, and I'm down there, skipped work, down there, getting it done. Got to hit this appraisal, and the appraisal came in like butter. like butter. Bought the deal for 80K, put in I think 60K or so, 70K, ARV 250, 260. I mean, it was sweet. It was sweet, and a great big freestanding house in Philly, which is it's rare. Low credit. When you're flipping, you can have low credit because the lender knows they know your exit strategy, or at least they will ask you. A good lender, a smart lender is going to ask you, so Brian, what are you going to do with this deal when you're done with it? Because your credit kind of sucks, bro. And I'm like, oh, I'm flipping it. Oh, all right, cool. Because if I say, well, my exit strategy is to get a DSCR loan, they're going to be like, well, they're going to check your credit. And when they check your credit, they're going to see what I see. Maybe that's not the best move. They're not going to be as comfortable. But if your exit strategy is to flip and the numbers make sense and the deal makes sense, you can actually get a lot of financing. And the private money lenders will even come in. I like the numbers. This is a safe flip. Here's 100% of the money. Here you go. God bless America. Right. So you can even get the money easier, I would say, with a flip than even with a burst strategy because there's less involved. The exit is more obvious. It can be a little easier. Cons, market exposure. Market exposure on a flip is a little bit more aggressive than market exposure on a buy and hold or a burst strategy deal because with the burst strategy, the comps are just locked in. There is risk there, but the comps are locked in. They change every year, every 6 months. So your market exposure is not as direct. Whereas your market exposure on a flip, it's there because you're selling to the market. It's not about what the appraiser necessarily comes in and says. It's about what a human being will buy. Somebody on the other end will pull out of their pocket and take on in a mortgage. So you're exposed to interest rates and you're exposed to these tariffs and all these things that are floating around. If price fluctuations start happening, you can get exposed to them. You're exposed to Doge and different shutdowns there. If they come through your city and just bang out all the government employees, that could have an impact on the market. People start dumping their properties because they can't afford their mortgages because they have no job. And then that can drive down prices quickly in a market. We're seeing some of that in like DC right now. So there's some exposure with the flipping, but if it's 6 months, most of the time it's fine. You're gonna hit a clunker. I explained it like this I believe in the inner circle call. There's 3 scenarios in real estate. The 3 scenarios are a deal will underperform. That's one scenario. A deal will perform more or less on average. That's scenario 2. Or a deal will overperform. Deals don't go to zero. It's real estate. It has value. So it's either going to be worth less than you thought, about what you thought, or more than you thought. If you take those 3 scenarios and you're reasonably decent at real estate, you have mentorship, you're tapped into community, you're getting resources that already work for somebody else, well, you have a 2/3 chance of either performing well or outperforming, and a 1/3 chance of underperformance. So over the course of time, this is just like probability. There's only 3 scenarios. There's 2 good ones, average and better than average. One not so great one, which is below average, but that's still even with a short-term focus. I won't go on that rant unless anybody asks me to. But that puts you in a position where if you play the game long term, you're going to hit more deals that perform as they're projected to, and then outperformers. And both of those combined are going to far outweigh your underperformers anyway. So even if you underperform for market exposure, it's not the end of the world. Your overperformers and your average deals are going to far outperform that because the underperformance is usually not that tremendously bad. Especially like I said, if you're guided, if you're like I did and just run out into the school of hard knocks, you could get your head ripped off. I mean, it is completely unforgiving. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. If you're interested in our programs, Real Estate Ride Along Tour, Saturday, March 15th, I have 1 ticket. Boots on the Ground program, find, finance, rehab, tenant, manage properties for you, build houses for you, find rental properties for you in cheap markets across the country. Right now, our favorite market is Philly, but we're going to expand. Just reach out about that, and then tap into our community. Click the links in the description. Click the link bio on IG. Tap into our community. $27. It's not free, but it's because I want people who are of the mindset of I'm ready, who've made some type of micro commitment. I'm ready. I'm going in. 27 bucks, like I said, is cost of lunch, at least in New York. So it's certainly not the biggest commitment in the world. Maybe don't grab that Starbucks for a couple days. Get some real estate education that cost me millions of dollars to get, that I'm giving to you for peanuts. Um, you need crews. This is a con when you're new. If you're going to flip, you need crews. You need people who know what they're doing, who've built houses before. You need to be able to navigate deals. You not only need crews, you need to know how permits are pulled, what inspectors exist within the city and municipality, how aggressive are they. Like, you need a good amount of knowledge, in my opinion. You need a good amount of knowledge, guys. This is not something you're just going to run and flip houses. This ain't TV. This ain't Property Brothers. You're going to get your head blown off. You want to go into this serious as a heart attack. There's big money, but there's bigger risk. There's way bigger risk than any buy and hold deal, because the buy and hold, it has safety guards on it where you can't really, in my opinion, you can't really lose long term on them, on most deals, unless the house falls down or it's like there's a sinkhole or something. I'm talking about a house that's standing up, that you can put tenants in, and that you put a strong rehab into. It, if you're doing this the right way, the way we teach, and you're buying these properties for 80K, 90K, there's not really room for the downside. They're just going to go up or they're going to stay the same. If they go up, you win big on appreciation and rent, and they're usually going to go up. If they stay the same, you're going to win off of cash flow and depreciation, tax losses. Either way, you're going to win. Even if it don't cash flow and it don't appreciate and it depreciates, it doesn't matter that it depreciates because it's on a 30-year mortgage, and you're still going to get the tax losses. You're still going to win. The other con is you need experience. But it's not, that's probably, that con should be at the top, because it's like the least consequential con, because you can get experience today at an all-time level. You guys can get way more experience, exposure, and knowledge than I had access to when I got started at real estate investing. Way more, way more, way more access. So getting that experience, getting that knowledge, coming out to something like my real estate ride along tour, seeing how we build houses literally in today's market. We're doing it right now. Going and seeing that and getting that experience puts you light years ahead of the version of yourself that does not have that experience. Light years. So that's that's another way to do it. So flipping can get you big cash, is the bottom line. Can get you big cash. 2 flips a year will get the average bear out of the 9 to 5. 2 flips a year will get the average bear out of the 9 to 5. You probably work 1 to 2 months out of the year. You'll spend the rest sitting on the couch playing video games, half of you. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't have time for it, but not that there's anything wrong with that, if that's how you unwind. So guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. You've heard about my programs enough. If you're interested in them, DM me. And if you want to tap into our community group, just click the links in the description, click the link in bio, or DM me Cashflow if you're on IG. If you're on YouTube and you want us to send you the direct link, just leave a comment that says I subscribe. We'll send it over. Number 3 is seller financing. This is if you're broke. So if I'm broke, I'm just getting started in real estate, and I'm like, Brian, I'm on a super budget, bro. I'm on a budget that's so tight it's almost non-existent. I'm going to start learning about seller financing. If I'm you, I'm learning about seller financing. I want to know how to leverage the existing debt that's already on properties. I want to learn how to get in front of people who are motivated to sell. They're in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure. Maybe they're just moving out of town. Maybe they're just on the MLS really long. They're having trouble selling. Maybe they had their property listed for rent for really long and they're getting desperate. They're getting desperate. I can come through with the lease purchase option. Hey, they were looking for $1,600 a month 6 months ago. Now that they didn't get it for so long, they'll take 12. But I could still get it 16. I have more patience than them. I'll put it on a master lease at 12. I'll rent to own it. I'll rent to own it for $2,000 a month because I can think bigger than them. So I'm going to restructure their deal in a way they can't even see. I want that level of knowledge. If I'm you and I'm just getting started, because what do you have to lose? Get the knowledge. Take the time to learn. Take advantage of the time. Learn how to structure deals. Learn how to find value. Learn how to get deals. I'm going to the auction. I want to see how to buy properties dirt cheap at the auction. Even if you just, and some of you have heard me say this before, even if you just had knowledge of the auction, how the auction works, how to evaluate properties, how to season properties, you become of value to another investor with money. So now you go sit at the auction, they pay you 2 grand per auction. You help them bid on deals. You do that for 4 or 5 months, you stack up 10, 20,000 because they got 3, 4 auctions a month. If you got paid even, let's say a G, I can guarantee you there are investors you can negotiate $1,000 an auction. I'll do unlimited bids. I'll do the research. This is if I go completely broke. Let's say I go completely broke and I need to rebuild. Go to the auction. I'll go to multiple auctions in multiple cities, states that are all around me in a, let's call it a 1 hour, 2 hour radius. I'm going to master the auctions. I'm going to master the research. I know the cost of construction. I have a lot of knowledge that I can leverage. I can charge, $1,000 per auction. I'll bid for you. I'll do everything, do all the research. We'll get you some good deals. $1,000 an auction. There's 4 of them a month. Maybe I can get as many if I go to multiple cities, multiple states. I can get 15 auctions a month. That's 15,000 a month right there. You think I'm going back to the 9 to 5? You think I'm going back? I'll just take the knowledge and leverage it, and then you do that for a couple of months. 15,000 a month for 5 months. You're up 75,000. Start flipping. Go flip it. So having knowledge of like seller financing, creative financing, or just how to get cheap deals, get in front of properties for pennies on the dollar, it's extreme value. Spend time learning that. If you're saving cash or building your credit, learn it now. Learn it now. Take advantage of it now. So the pros is you can do it with no credit. You can do it with very low cash, and you do help people. So if you have like a big heart, there are people who get into real estate because real estate ain't the heart business, but there are aspects of it that can be. Seller financing, helping somebody out of pre-foreclosure, foreclosure, definitely, it's a win-win. Helping somebody who they're struggling to stabilize their property and you come in with a lease purchase option, even though you make money, you still did solve their problem, get rid of their headache. Now, they might not be good at managing property. So now you're paying them $1,200 a month. They don't have to worry about anything. They're happy. Then you take that property and you reposition it, make however much money you can. Go make $1,000 a month off of it. It's not your problem. You don't need to do poorly to help people, but you do help people. Some of the cons, you do need an attorney with seller financing. You do need an attorney because you're going to be dealing with contracts, and these contracts can be heavily disputed in court. Everything's great with seller financing when it goes well. When it's going well, everybody's happy. When it goes a little bit bad, or let's say you took over a deal subject to, and now the deal went bad. The bank found out and they called the property due on sale. And now you're going back to the seller like, yo, remember that clause that was right there? Well, that happened. I'm going to deed the property back over to you. God bless. You want to make sure your contract is tight. You want to make sure the contract is well written because you need to understand not only the law in the municipality that you're in, but also how it's ruled upon, because the judges do it. That's why there are judges. Some people think, well, judges, they just uphold the law. No, they kind of make the law. They kind of make it. They kind of interpret it how they feel about it. That's what judges do. So there's how it's written and then how it's enforced. And you need to know how it's enforced so that you can have your contracts drafted in a way that reflect how things are currently enforced. Because how it was enforced 3 years ago, there could be some new case law that just hit. Oh, you weren't paying attention. Some new case law hit in 2024. So now all the new people started adding this clause in. You don't have it in your contract. So actually, you can't push this person out. You have to foreclose on them. That's going to take 2 years and $30,000 that you don't have because you didn't have this clause in your contract. So getting the attorney is worth it. Attorneys are much cheaper beforehand than afterhand. Much cheaper to hire an attorney to draft a contract than hire them to represent you in court. Hiring them to draft a contract, I mean, it could be $500, it could be $2,500. Hiring them to represent you in court, it could be $50,000, it could be $250,000. Could be half a brick, which is $500,000. You don't know. Not a good situation. You need knowledge. We talked about that. You want to get the knowledge, click the links in the description, click the links in bio, DM me, get into the community, get the knowledge. Can't make it any easier. I could make it free, but I told you why I won't make it free. Because it brings in too many tire kickers and people who don't really respect the knowledge. They expect everything to be free and given to them. And that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. If you want the free stuff, well, you're here. You can get the free stuff here. You can go on YouTube University. You can go to my YouTube channel, sub up and keep tapping in. You can stay on IG and keep learning and absorbing. But there's nothing like condensed, concentrated knowledge and resources, and then also the community. Getting a private lender is, geez, if I had a private lender in 2012, oh my goodness, 2013, 24, the amount of value you can get today. This is another thing people don't talk about is everything's cheaper today. Even as I'm complaining about the cost of a bag of potato chips and some fruit from Whole Foods, um, everything's cheaper today than it's going to be tomorrow. It's always been like that to a degree. So by not accelerating, by not getting educated, by remaining arrogant in that sense, you're moving slower than you should be, than you could be. And your future you is going to kick yourself and say, you jackass, you should have accelerated. You didn't understand how cheap things were. You didn't get it. That's why you went slower. That's why you didn't tap into the knowledge. That's why you wasted 100 hours on YouTube University when you could have spent 20 minutes in a $27 program because you were arrogant and you didn't understand the stakes. You didn't understand that prices were going to double. When you've been in a couple cycles, you understand because you've seen it. The human brain is not wired to know how things are going to happen. It's wired to understand how things have happened. That's why somebody with experience is of use to you because they've seen how things have happened and they can just give you that direct, hey, this is what usually happens. How do you know? Because I've seen it. I know it because I've witnessed it. Getting that is going to accelerate you and let you tap into more opportunity today. And this is the cheap opportunity. This is the moment. A lot of us are just going to miss that moment, but this is your winning moment. Many of your properties are going to appreciate $80,000 to $100,000 very rapidly, and your rents have already gone up. I just rented out a property for my mother's property. I've seen the rents in this neighborhood go from 700 a month to 900 a month, 1,200 a month. She's renting the property for $1,350 a month. I mean, $1,950 a month. I'm like, oh, she's gonna cash flow a stack a month off of the property. You know, it's like but you only experience that when you grab the asset today. When you get out of your own way, you get the knowledge, you start grabbing your assets today. And then you have the right long-term focus of every deal is, if you can cash flow it, it's a winner. Everyone that can cash flow, doesn't matter if you put 50K into it or 5K into it or zero into it. Every property that cash flows is a winner because they end up appreciating, giving you tax losses, and the rents usually inflate. So even whatever cash flow you're making a day, you start making more in the future. And you're like, damn, I didn't anticipate that. I did these ones for 300 a month or 400 a month. Now they're up to 900 a month, and I got 10 of them. That's how it happens for people. So it's not always that overnight success type of vibe. It's not always that, oh, like even my story, my first deal was cash flowing me $1,000 a month from day one. It still does cash flow very well, but every deal doesn't have to do that much to be a winner because cash flow grows. Cash flow is like a plant. It's like you plant the cash flow seed, you plant that property, that cash flow, it grows. The rent grows. These things, they're not fixed. They're not finite things. They're living, breathing things. They start to appreciate. But we don't think, the human brain is not wired to think that way. Exponentially, it thinks linearly. I will see tomorrow what I'm looking at today. That's the program. That's the algorithm. Thinking outside of that is like, this thing's going to grow. It's going to appreciate. It's going to evolve over the course of time. If I put in a strong rehab today, then I can just sit back and experience that evolution for the next 20 years. And that is usually, you know, six-figure appreciation, doubling of rents, or, you know, 1.5xing of rents, which is, you know, pure cash flow. Your taxes will go up some, things will, you know, fluctuate. A pay down on your debt because you're servicing your debt while you're cash flowing. And maybe rates end up lower and you hit that refi button across a portfolio, you pull out 1 million cash, tax free, because you don't owe taxes on a loan, on a mortgage. So that's the game. But you need the knowledge to play the game and get in the game. So get the knowledge. You don't have an excuse to not get the knowledge because it's so easily available today. It's easy. This is the easiest the knowledge has been available and the cheapest it's going to get. There will literally be nothing to blame but yourself. Arrogance, stubbornness, being distracted, whatever you call it. You can call it whatever, but whatever it is, it leads to you not doing deals and getting deals. It's inaction. It's inaction with an excuse. Could be a great excuse, could be a great reason, could even not be an excuse, could be 100% legitimate. It doesn't really matter. It's still inaction. It still doesn't get you the result. The only thing that gets results in real estate is action, activity. Activity. So I said no taxes, no taxes on a loan. Yahoo, my favorite. Yeah, no taxes on a loan. That's the whole point of a cash out refinance. Is you pull that money out of the property. I mean, I didn't know this, so I won't even say like I'm shocked people didn't know this. I didn't know any of this, by the way. I rattle this stuff off in almost a non-thinking way. I didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't know what a burst strategy was. I didn't know what a DSCR was. I didn't know any of this stuff. That's the funny part is a lot of you guys know more than I knew when I started. You have a better chance to do more than me. And I know what I was able to do hundreds of deals. That means you could do 1,000. Anybody. If you like pick it up and really apply yourself. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, but I didn't know you couldn't pull money out of that you could pull money out of a property and wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. I found that out. Like, no, that's a mortgage, bro. You know, it gets paid back over the course of time, therefore there's no taxes. It's not earned income. I'm like, okay. But then the tenant service and the debt. So I can just take this 50K cash out and just put it in my pocket and I don't pay taxes. You know how much non-taxable money is worth? Just look at how much you pay in taxes. You pay 30%, then it's worth, you know, it's worth substantially more. Is the bottom line. It's worth substantially more. 50K cash out might be worth like 75K, 80K taxable, depending on your tax bracket. So even if you just set up refinances, which people are doing right now through some of the auction activity, and we're in the process, by the way, in the Boots on the Ground program, I'm working on kind of getting more of us to the auction. So we're working on a strategy to do some of that research for our Boots on the Ground members and tee you guys up for these auctions. That should be very exciting, and that can yield extremely cheap deals that you can cash out refi from. Slower process, not for everybody, but some people are going to take it and run with it. But in doing that, yeah, you know, you do $30,000 refis, you pull out 100K. That's like somebody making, you know, $150,000 salary, but they're working for it. You're doing 3 deals a year. You could do that in your sleep. You could do that in your, you know, at your kitchen table, realistically. And in fact, our whole course is about how to do that from your kitchen table. Because it's not the only way I know how to do it, but it's the best way. If you can do real estate from your kitchen table, that gives you ultimate freedom to redesign your life and kind of live how you want to. The one thing everybody shares is time. So being able to live within that time how you want to, that is financial freedom, right? Like that's really the freedom you want, is to design your life. You're going to have to do something ultimately, but to be able to design things, design your life, design your lifestyle. Real estate will give you that. 9 to 5 won't typically give you that. Not that some people don't have work from home jobs and things of that nature. Seller financing deals, lastly, they're harder to find. Harder to find. There's less of them. They're called any day deals. Any day of the week, you could do a seller financing deal. You can't do them every day. You can't do them every day. There's not that many of them, but they are out there. So any day of the week, if you apply yourself, if you apply pressure, if you get focused on the activity of real estate, hey, I'm just going to look for motivated sellers. What are you going to do tomorrow? Look for motivated sellers again. How about the next day? Look for motivated sellers. I'm just going to do it every day. And I'm just going to apply pressure. And I'm going to build up a pipeline. And if this marketing strategy doesn't work, I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to test this one. And I got one. Okay. Okay, this one worked. Let me keep, I got another. Okay, now I'm going to keep running this marketing system and scale that. Now I'm going to try to get more results here. If you just have that level of a focus, then you will start to find deals, and it can come together easily. Like you could do 10 a year, 20 a year, because your focus is high enough, your activity is high enough. You can scale any of these systems with virtual assistants, any of these strategies, virtual assistants. You can scale them and have your assistants outproduce their cost, hypothetically, in certain of these fields. But definitely in like a seller financing, you could scale it with one VA and then two and then three, and kind of work your way out of the hustle and bustle. But harder to find than certainly just walking on the MLS or going to an auction. At an auction, you don't have to find them. You have to uncover the diamond in the rough. You have to pick them up and inspect them and dust off these properties to see what they're really worth. Seller finance, you have to truly uncover. You have to be able to see pain, see market pain. Damn, this guy's trying to rent this property for 5 months. His stomach hurts. I'm going to call him. Not to make him a bad deal, but to make a deal. If he wants the headache to go away and I want, $500 a month, I like it. Like I like it. I'm going to make a deal. And then I take that deal, I take it to somebody who's got bad credit. Brian, I got bad credit. I want to rent to own something nobody's got. Hey, I got a deal. Rent to own this thing for $1,900 a month. I got the lease for $1,200. I'm cash flowing $700 a month. Really, with no down pay, just smooth, just solving a problem. $700 a month. Lease, rent to own, lease purchase option. I probably make $50K on the back end. But you got to get in front of those deals. You got to get in front of those deals. Then there's ground up deals. There's all types of things you guys can get in front of. And that you'll learn about as you kind of go. You don't need to be at the top of any of these strategies. You can start off small. You can house hack. I mean, my path was house hacking into burst, really house hacking into burst strategy. I would say house hacking into parking capital until I ran out of money, then into burst strategy. A little bit of flipping, a little bit of seller financing sprinkled in to burst strategy. That's kind of my sauce. Little bit, mostly focused on house hacking still, different house hack strategies, affordable housing, and then burst strategy with a little bit of flipping, a little bit of seller financing. Because it belongs in your portfolio. As you get better, certain strategies, they may belong in your portfolio as a strategy, but not the dominant strategy. Just a pressure release valve. Just an opportunity grab. There's nothing wrong with those. That may have it may be an appropriate piece of your portfolio that stabilizes it, that balances it a bit, that gives it more cash flow than it otherwise would have were it too burst strategy dominant. So you have to think your way through these things. This is the problem also. You're becoming your own boss by teaching yourself about real estate, by learning how to invest. You're becoming your own boss. So now you have to make decisions and live with them and be held responsible for them, because there's nobody else to blame. A lot of people complain about their boss so much. It's like if you made them a boss overnight, they couldn't handle it because they can't rhythmically stop complaining. They're in a rhythm of complaint. They can't stop complaining. They'll start complaining to themselves in the mirror about them damn self. So you have to be in the right mindset of, I want to avoid mistakes. I want to navigate correctly. And then when you're thinking about your portfolio, What type of mix do you want to have? You might be a dominant flipper who also does some buy and holds to just stabilize some of those profits. So they're not always flipping, even though they love to flip. You may be the reverse, the buy and holder who needs a little bit more liquidity to get more buy and holds. So they start flipping a couple to build more liquidity for good buy and hold opportunities. You might be the wholesaler that gets into seller financing, or you're just starting off. You go straight to seller financing because I don't have the cash and credit, but I like helping people, and I want to learn this skill set so that I can make money and then scale. Because if you master seller financing, you can do whatever you want. It's the holy grail. The whole business is about finding profitable deals. The whole business. It can solve everything. Well, not everything, but it solves enough. It solves enough of a problem. It solves enough of a problem. There are other problems to solve, and there are always problems to be solved as a real estate developer. In fact, your job is to wake up every morning and put out fires, solve problems. That's what you get paid to do. So there are always going to be some problems in real estate. It's like that. It's your ability to navigate the problems that make you good or bad as a real estate developer, not your ability to avoid them altogether, but your ability to navigate them as they arise. To call audibles. You're a quarterback. You have to read if a blitz is coming. You have to readjust. Sometimes you got to scramble. Sometimes you got to scramble. We guys, if you got value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. Drop any questions you have in the chat section, comment section. We'll answer those as we go. We only have like one spot open in the Boots on the Ground program right now. We have one ride along ticket. And if you want to tap into our community, just click the links in the description, click the links in bio, and just tap in. Get your knowledge, get your game up, wake up, wake up, get back in this, get back in the lab. Get back in the gym. This is the real estate gym. Get back in the gym. One guy joined. He tapped into Boots on the Ground, and he's going to do well. I mean, he's going to do extremely well. He was in real estate, crushing real estate, 10 years ago, got out. Now he's back. And I'm like, bro, you sat on the side too long. Get back in the game. Get back in the game like I'm subbing you back in. The last time he was in, he was crushing it. But there are different market cycles, which is why, as you see many of them, you start to you have a different respect for the game. I'll say you start to want to be more deliberate, slower, craftier, more patient. Just don't need to go too fast. This is not a game where you want to go super fast, even though there are times where you can really super accelerate. You want to do it as conservatively as possible. Brian, bro, hit me up. I'm just now starting this journey. Don't really know much about it, but I want to close on my first multifamily in the first 6 to 12 months. Yeah, you can get a multi. I mean, if you want to house hack a multi or something like that, I mean, 90 days, man. 90-day sprint. 90-day sprint. Could happen faster to get a nice one, too. This is the perfect time within the market. It really is. 2025 is a good year for this thing. Definitely reach out. Just leave a comment that says I subscribe, and we'll send you a link, or just click the link in the description and tap in, and we will connect and show you how to get this done. I mean, realistically, you could even get that done through like the community group. Realistically, I mean, we have so many relationships and resources there. But I would click the link in the description, tap in, try to get that in motion, and just make it happen. That's like I'll probably build 100 houses this year. That's a goal you can accomplish. You can accomplish that goal in 90 days. 90 days with the right direction. Or you can try to figure it out and go through it. Even if you do the deal on your own and try and like figured it out without any help, any knowledge, you would still miss so many lessons. The lessons are like, there's so many of them that you're gonna spend. This is anybody investing in real estate. You're gonna spend over $100,000 minimum. I would say maybe even more, maybe $200,000 of losses to learn what's in my course, to learn the knowledge that's within my course. If you go out and try to do enough real estate to have an impact on your situation, you are going to make easily an extra $100,000 to $200,000 worth of mistakes by not knowing just the base level of what's in my course. Because the mistakes, they cost, they hurt. It's a gut punch. It's a gut punch from Rocky Balboa. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. But getting there, if you do get the knowledge, you avoid those mistakes, you can actually save. Let's say even if you were a little boneheaded, you're like, I know Brian told me not to do that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And then you bang a 15K mistake. You're still gonna avoid another $85,000 worth of mistakes. If you take that 85,000 and you reinvest that early on, man, it pays dividends versus bleeding it into knowledge. What a waste. What a waste of money. The only reason to do that is if you're attempting something that kind of hasn't been done, where there's not an easy way to get the knowledge of how to do it correctly. Or if you're just, like I said, a daredevil and you just got to know. Some people got to touch the stove to see if it's hot. You got to do it. But there's cheaper ways and there's less painful ways. And there are people who do more deals just because they accelerate faster. They leapfrog you. You could be like, I'm doing 2 deals a year. I'm crushing it. And you pop up with 12 deals in 6 years and you're the freaking man. And then your friend gets up and in 12 months, he's got 20 deals. And you're like, how did he do that? Superior strategy. Had a superior strategy. Focused on scaling with virtual assistants. Didn't try to do it all themselves. You can always leapfrog. You can always accelerate with knowledge. You can go much faster, safely, because you're avoiding mistakes. And when you're reinvesting your lack of losses, because this is real money that you just don't see. You bleed it or you don't bleed it. If you don't bleed it, you save it. So then you see it. If you keep that extra 85 and just pour it into the game or flip it up, I mean, it's such a total game changer. And it gives you the ability to invest without cash or credit, which a lot of us just sit on the sidelines because of that. We don't have the cash or credit, so we sit on the sidelines. I'm waiting until I get the cash or credit. Waiting until you get the cash and credit is an energy. It's an energy of waiting. Waiting to get the cash or credit leads to more waiting. It actually leads to more waiting. It doesn't lead to more cash and credit. It leads to waiting. Your credit will improve naturally. You don't need to wait for it to do it. It will do it on its own, actually. If you just solve whatever you need to solve, it will correct. You don't need to wait. You need to learn how to work around. That's what you need, because that's called activity. And activity yields results in real estate, not waiting. You can't wait your way into a deal. You can only have enough activity to get your way into a deal, to work your way into a deal. Would I flip it first or cash out refi it first? You got to tap in, bro. You got to tap in. I would probably, I mean, if I'm you, because we've spoken, I would, this is a question. Should I cash out or should I cash out refi or should I flip the house first on Instagram? Knowing you, because we spoke, I would start with like a flip, like a small flip, and I would try to flip my way up. I've actually seen a lot of people have a success with the one flip, one hold strategy. So they'll come in, do one flip and one hold almost simultaneously to get 2 deals in. One can pop some liquidity and the other one, will be for the hold. So if the flip performs very well, it gives even more liquidity to the hold deal. Then you can pop out pretty much with no money in those deals, just kind of playing with house money in those deals and have your original cash position, and then maybe do it again. So you can certainly come up with a recipe, and you kind of have to experiment there. This is cooking without the measuring cup. So it's a sprinkle of this, a sprinkle of that. You have to figure out your recipe. It might be 2 flips for a hold, 2 flips in a multi. It might be one flip for every two holds. It might be, hey, I just like to flip, but keep flipping me, and I want to buy a commercial, 5 units with a storefront. I want to build some of those assets. It just depends on what you're looking for. Many ways to skin that cat. So that's what I would say there. Um, Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. I want you to teach me to fish. That's really what it's about. Real estate is like fishing. It is like fishing. You have to cast nets in front of deal flow. You have to get deal, because the deals are they're swimming through, literally through the internet. They're swimming. They're swimming through Redfin. They're on the market. They're out, right in the water, splashing around. And you got to reel in some deals. You got to cherry pick some deals. And you got to learn what you're looking for. You got to pull the fish out of the water. This is a bad fish. Throw it back. Some of you guys pull the fish out. You fall in love with the fish. You fall in love with the deal. The deal ain't good unless the numbers are good. Not good, throw it back. Get another one. There's plenty of them. That's the mindset. So, you just kind of have to stay locked in on some of those things. But this is all teaching you how to fish. If you can fish out really good deals, and you have construction crews or access to them, and you kind of have different pieces in place, you can do well. You can do well in this business. But building up those relationships from the mud, that can be difficult and painful. That can be ill-advised. Going turnkey, figuring out, learning, doing a ride along, figuring that out, kind of understanding the game is better as you get in, because it's a tough transition from white collar to blue collar. It's a tough transition from, hey, I had the HR department, to what we do here. It's a whole different game. It's a whole different beast. So there's enough going on. You want to make sure you have every competitive advantage. But definitely, if you want to learn how to fish, click that link in the description. Click the link in bio. Tap into the $27 community group. There are some bonuses and upgrades you can tap into, of course, there. But it will at least get you access to, knowledge you need, relationships you need, more importantly. There are a lot of people in the group, and people doing deals just everywhere. People doing deals everywhere, man. People doing deals everywhere. People doing deals out of state. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Look at this. Testimonials popping out of nowhere. Huge shout out to you, Brian. I joined the community mid 2024. Had a bunch of things to deal with, but your mindset taught me. I'm closing 2 wholesale deals this month of March. So grateful for your course. He's up 45K. He's going to be up 45K off these deals. He joined in mid 2024. Damn. We're not even to mid 2025 right now. Testimonial popping out of thin air. But that's the thing. It's like, I help more people than I even know I help. I talk to a lot of you. I work with a lot of you in the one-on-one mentorship aspect. There's so many people out there who tap in, and I barely know. I don't always get, I really appreciate it, Isabel, for sharing, but I don't always get the feedback. I don't even always hear it. But a lot of people are out winning, and that's what I am, your cheerleader, essentially. I want you to win. I want you to do more. I want you to view yourself differently. I want you to not recognize the old version of yourself. I want you to not recognize the old version of yourself that knew less about real estate, because the new version of you that knows more about real estate is a much more confident and pleasant person to be around. Much more confident, much happier, and pleasant person to be around for the entire world. Quite frankly, you're much more pleasant when you're not glued to the 9 to 5, when you're not stressed out there, when you're making more money. A lot of you are much more generous when you have more money. So, but it's just good to see wins, man. It's good. All jokes aside, it's good to see wins. It's good to see wins. It's good to see people out there making it happen. And the fact of the matter is, the money is changing hands. The deals are happening. The properties are being bought and sold and transferred and repositioned. The money's moving. The question is, are you going to cast a net and get in front of that money, or ain't you? And this is about the people who are going to cast a net and get in front of the money, who are going to get out there and learn how to fish. If you ain't going to do it, then don't do it. It's not going to hurt anybody else. It's only going to hurt you. If you want to do it, you click the link, you tap in, you network, you book a call, whatever. You get in front of it, or you go somewhere else and get in front of it. But you take action, because only activity yields results in real estate. Waiting does not yield results. You don't wait your way into a deal. It's never happened and never will. It's just an illusion. I've never waited my way into a deal. I never just sat back and waited and was like, "Oh, the deal's gonna appear. I'm just gonna wait here." I had to take action, man. Get off your ass and take action. Like, that's the only thing that gets you to deals. Oh, I got a roadblock. Got to work around it. Got to work around it. The end. Work around the issue. Daryl said, Brian got it going for me. Definitely leveled up my game. New version. Daryl's definitely a new version, but Daryl's a supercomputer at the same time. Um, at the same time, Daryl is a supercomputer. So his supercomputer applied to real estate. He's super Daryl right now because Daryl will nerd out over the real estate. If you nerd out with me and the people in our community, because like I say all the time, it's not just me. It's people like Daryl and others that you'll meet and that you'll see. These people will elevate your game because some of them are very locked in. You're going to network with people who are doing 10 plus deals a year, who've done 10, 15, 20 deals and just did it because I watched them do it. It's not like, and it, like, no cap. They're not, out even talking about it or publicizing it. I'm watching them do it. There's people out here doing it. It's not just the people you see. It's not just the talking heads you see. There are people out here, just everyday people just like you, that I watch every day. Or I'll get hit with a random testimonial on, like, hey, I'm doing it. They're out doing it and they're making the money and they're breaking free. It's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing you ever see. Let's see any other questions. We got some questions on IG and then I'll come back. Capital gains hit if you invest from the flip into a burr. Not necessarily, because you can flip and make short-term capital gains off of your flip. And then you can also offset those gains with a hold with bonus depreciation. If you do like a cost seg study, there's ways to navigate this if you're a real estate professional. So it can really you can really create a recipe, a nice tax free or very low tax recipe. Is it always advisable to use financing instead of using cash, being your own bank for flips? I think using cash versus financing is a risk tolerance, and it is not a growth strategy. From if you it's a mindset. If my mindset is growth, 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 maximum growth, throw all caution to the wind, scale as fast as possible, then there's never a good time to not use leverage. I want 100% financing. I don't want to use any money. Any money I have available, especially if the deals, if I'm like buying them off the auction and really like playing ball, I want the money in the street. I literally want all of my money in the street. I want it in the properties. If I had an extra 100K, it would be sitting in some shells. Because in a shell, 30K is worth 60K. Because the real estate has different valuations. It's worth more than your money. So in that sense, like, I want to be cash poor, house rich, and using other people's money to scale in that sense. But from a conservative sense and your risk tolerance sense as an individual, you're your own boss. So you have to decide what it looks like for you, how you're going to design it. How are you going to design it for you? How I want to design it, if I'm more conservative, I'm 54. I'm conservative. My kids are about to go to college. I'm not trying to go crazy. And I got a bunch of cash. Well, maybe you use a lot more cash then. Use less leverage. Especially if you're in a comfortable position where you have some experience, or the contractors have done a lot of deals, and there's some type of thing in place where you're not like having your first beer trying to figure it out with a crew from Home Depot, like that you found on the wall at Home Depot, like not really like going for it. I would say you can use some of your cash and just kind of stay comfortable. There are some people I know that kind of use all cash. um I've done both. I've done all leverage, and then I've done all cash. Like, hey, I'm buying rentals in this city for 50K and put 30K into them and just leave the cash. Don't want to even deal with the debt. Why? Because I deal with the debt over here, and I don't, like there's different mindsets. So you kind of have to just design this thing for you, your risk tolerance, what you're comfortable with. If you have the cash, um, if you have the cash, then you take the cash and you do your thing. You do your thing. There's no wrong answer. The wrong answer is sitting and waiting. Having cash and you doing all cash or doing all leverage. I mean, from a growth perspective, it's never bad to use leverage. There never be a reason to use more cash. Even if it results in saving money, which I've kind of looked at it, the more cash you use, the less fees you pay because you're taking smaller loan amounts, and the fees are based upon the maximum loan size. So if I put an extra 40K into the deal, that's going to save me money. That's going to save me money on interest. That might save me 4 grand a deal in interest. If I'm going to do 100 deals a year, that's $400,000 in savings. If I reinvest $400,000 every year, how much does that supercharge me? It does supercharge me. But there are many people who aren't patient enough for that, and they just want to go faster, and they just want to scale faster. So it just depends. I give you the knowledge. There's gasoline, and there's different things here that you can use, but you have to create a recipe for you. I'm here to help you to do it, but part of this game is about being a free thinking investor, somebody who can think their way through, out of their own puzzle and navigate the game. And therefore you'll be able to be conscious of the game, read the market, come up with your own decisions on how to navigate the market as well, because the market's constantly changing. So you don't want to learn a strategy from somebody. Brian, just give me the strategy. Well, the strategy could change because the market changes. So I not only have to give you strategies, I don't actually that is the answer. As I can't give you a strategy. A strategy doesn't work. I have to give you multiple strategies. I have to give you the 5, 6, 7 core strategies, the highest profit strategies with the most safeguards and the most are the most proven paths. I have to give you 6 to 7 of those, and now you can navigate the market. Now you can survive in essentially any market because you can navigate. Oh, this market got too expensive for buying holds. Flip. Take the flip money, park it in another city that's cheaper. Use out of state investing strategies, boots on the ground systems. Boots on the ground systems. The boots on the ground program is a out of state investing system. It literally is the whole playbook. You're seeing every aspect of it. Exactly how to scale it. And I reveal the costs at times, especially on inner circle rants. If anybody's on those, especially on inner circle rants. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribed. If you're interested in tapping into our community, just click the links in the description. Click the link in bio, DM me cash flow. And we'll get you tapped in. Do you get capital gain? Blah, 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 blah. Network equals net worth. So I have about 60K to spare. Would that get me going? Yeah, if you have 60K, you can get jiggy. Like you have I talked to a guy when I was first getting started. I used to sell insurance, which I love. I love insurance. I really nerded out. I worked at an insurance startup and everything. helped to build out a call center for them. Um, it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. But I ran into this guy in a really nice part of Philly, and he's like, "Hey, I'm a contract. He was a contractor. He was back home with his mom or whatever, but beautiful house, right?" And I started talking to him about real estate. I was really there to review his mother's policy because she had a pre-existing policy. And he was like, I was like, how much to flip? And he had done a lot of flips. I'm like, how much to flip? Like, what should I be doing? At this time, I haven't really done a deal yet. I'm about to buy my first multi, but I'm broke. So I'm talking to everybody about real estate that I can. And he's like, you need 50,000. He's like, with 50,000, you can flip, and you can flip that 50 to 100 to 150. And he was like breaking the game down for me. And I was like, damn. So I need about 50 clams, and I ain't got it. I'm about I'm about 49,999 clams short of 50K, right? But I learned the lesson, and it's been true. It wasn't really a lesson. What it was something some guy said, and then I was like, it kind of came back to me as I was navigating the game. And I was like, yeah, he was kind of right. As I started to learn the cost of construction and the deals and what he was really talking about, I was like, yeah, he's right. With 50K, you can get it done. You can get it in at the highest level because of all I didn't know about the lending. I didn't know about the contractors and the costs and the flow. I didn't know anything, but I believed him. He had a lot of confidence there. He was right. 50K, you can get really jiggy. Really, realistically, with about 35K, you can start doing the burst strategy comfortably. I think even when I started the burst strategy, I had about that or more. Um, if you have less, it's not that you can't do it, it's just tighter. So then it gets more into your risk tolerance. Are you that aggressive? Some people will be like, yo, I'll slap this on a business credit card and boom. And that's a little bit more aggressive than I was, but not that it's wrong, because if you execute, like, you can win. It is just, more risk than not taking that on, right? Like, you have to be transparent about it. But it's all about your risk tolerance. Um, Understood, need to be clear on my risk appetite, definitely. But 60K, you can get jiggy. You should be really taking action. Your focus should be on action and just understanding how to leverage that into a valuable deal. If you just, let's say you started with 60K, you ended with 30K, but you had a property that cash flowed you $800 a month and could appreciate and now provide you with tax losses. That appreciation over the course of 3-4 years, it doesn't take a $200,000 property if it's already worth 225. It doesn't take that property very long to appreciate 30K. Actually, in a market like Philly, that is a top 10 market in the country, according to Zillow, for flipping and holding, it can easily appreciate 10% in a year in Philly. 10% in a year over year, 10, 10, 10. Compounding, you're up 40%. You're up like 40%. So it covers. So even a deal, you're like, damn it, I parked 30K into this deal. And then you look at the deal and it's like, yo, but it appreciated 50K in 3 years. Your rent went up another $200. You've been cash flowing. It's a better bank. It's a better bank account for your 30K. And then you can refinance it out. Hopefully rates will be lower. You refi out. Then you pull that 30K out and give me another 10. Pull out 40K in a refi. It's a better bank account. Way better bank account. So very, very interesting ways to look at deals. Um, Let me see. I'm so new to this, but learning so much and becoming so motivated. I can't wait. I'm in the community. Definitely. Tapping into the community is, I took a lot of time to really build it out, but it's been amazing. And we're putting community liaisons in there, help field questions. You guys know you can always chat with me in there as well. So you have that ability. But yeah, the community is great, and getting tapped in with a lot of people has been, I think it's been fantastic. It's I wish I did it. I wish I built the community out sooner, but I think the timing has been good because, I mean, as you can see, People are making money. I mean, that's great. I'll pull that testimonial back up. Like, that's great to see somebody tap into the course and they they made 45,000, like completely obliterated the cost of the course. Have the knowledge of how to make 45K. Having the knowledge of how to make 45K means you can do it again, because the knowledge made them the 45K. Means you can take the same knowledge, do it again, make another 45, make another 90, scale it, get virtual assistants, dial it up, right? Virtual assistant might only cost you $800 a month. Off a 45K profit, dial it up. Maybe you can dial them up to do one deal a month. They can out return themselves. Now you have a system, leverage it, scale it, apply pressure. But people are out doing it, which is fantastic. 45K in about 6 months. What a return. What a return. And knowledge. That's the best part. That's what people don't really think about when it comes to mentorship programs and knowledge. Is like, what if you do get the knowledge and it does start getting you the result, and the profit far outpaces the cost of the mentorship, and you keep the knowledge forever? What's the return on invest? It's infinite return. It's infinite return on investment. That's why investing in your own education is the best invest, especially for like business purposes and ways to accelerate and earn more. It's like the best way. It's the best gift to yourself. It's the best time investment you can make. Everyone doesn't have to pay off, but the ones that pay off will really crush it. Really crush it. And the more you do, the more you invest. You should invest. They say, I would say, maybe, who says this? Zig Ziglar or somebody like that. You should invest like 10% of your income into your own education, your personal education annually. And that was a principle that I stuck by and still do. And it pays dividends. You got to invest in yourself. You have to. It really pays off long term. But yeah, reach out if anybody's interested in tapping into the community, getting results, getting in front of the same knowledge that made Isabel $45,000 in 6 months. Then tap in. Click the link in the description. Click the link in bio. DM me Cashflow. Get involved. Get in the community. While it's $27, maybe bump it up. I mean, we've been getting a lot of people joining, by the way. So we certainly aren't begging anybody to join. A lot of people have been tapping in every day. The group's been really scaling. But definitely get in, because the community is great. We're getting the right types of people in. The $27 is actually a nice price point, because there are plenty of people who are like, I ain't paying 27, and it's like, you have the wrong mindset. You shouldn't be here. It's not a negative to me. It's just like, you have the wrong mindset. You actually shouldn't be in the community. You're thinking about this totally wrong. And that's part of how you keep the energy, the right energy with the right people joining. So even I'm seeing the new people that are joining and the profiles, and I always reach out personally, just to kind of vet out, are we attracting the right people? And we really are. We really are. It's a good opportunity to get in front of the right people, get in front of the right group, have the right community. Community is more important. It's the one thing that I would say you can't get most places, is a community, especially virtually, like from the comfort of your home. But having this community aspect, I'm seeing it accelerate people. So it's definitely a major value add that not enough people talk about. They talk about knowledge, they talk about resources and all those things, but it's a lot of relationships that are scaled. Even a private money relationship could take you to the moon. And that's hard to come by, especially when you're new. But it's easier to find within these networks, because they won't find you, they'll find me. The movers and shakers will find me. And you guys know me. If they come to me and say, Brian, I do private money lending. I love what you talk about and what you do, and I just want to work with you and your clients, people you love. They just come to me, and then I just take them and bring them, I'll vet them out and just bring them to you. So it's like, but you wouldn't get that private money lender until you were 10 years in the business. So I just saved you 10 years and gave you 10 years worth of opportunity today that you can access and scale with. That's incredible value. That alone is like incredible value, even without any knowledge. So to get all of it, it's a it's a good thing, but you got to give value. That's why I tell you guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the content with somebody else who you want to give value, because you have to be of the giving value mindset to get a little bit of that value from the game. The game will reward you, the real estate game, the real estate gods. So always stay tapped in. Hope that helps, guys. I think we're tapped out of questions. So we're going to put a bow on this thing. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor. I'll see you guys on the Inner Circle call. If you want to tap into any of the programs, tap in. We have like one spot open in the Boots on the Ground program where we find finance, rehab, tenant, and managed properties for you. If you're interested in that, just tap in and stay locked in. Chris said, can you review my wholesale deal? I'm struggling to sell it. It's a full remodel. Send it to me. Send it to me. DM me, email me, text me, send it to me. I'll take a look at it. We'll see if we can get it moved. We might try to move it through the community. Let's see what it's like. Or maybe we have to renegotiate the seller down. But guys, hope that helps. Stay locked in. Keep your mindset tight. Wake up. This is a big market opportunity. There's a lot of stuff in motion. You need to be very alert right now to opportunity. Things are changing. Rates are falling. People aren't talking about it. The interesting things are happening. So there are going to be some windows of opportunity opening up. Market's moving faster too. Just grabbed 3 Section 8 vouchers in the last 4 days. 3 vouchers off the market. Give me those. Market's moving fast again. So stay locked in right now. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor. I'll see you guys on the next one.